Hey girl, it's Emily. I'm so excited as we just launched my signature program, Thrive, inside of my new app. This is a 12-week hybrid of progressive overload and metabolic conditioning with the secret sauce, phasing. Now through October 25th, you can grab it for $100 off, no code needed at bit.ly/thrive and train for life. And bonus, you get lifetime access. I update the program 3 times a year and other amazing bonuses like monthly calls, my habit course that has helped hundreds of ladies make their habits stick, and a private podcast that is updated every season to habit hack the challenges that might come your way. This is habit-based fitness programming that you're not going to find anywhere else. Plan on finally being consistent and seeing and feeling results following this program and stop surviving, but finally thrive. Again, go to bit.ly/thrive and train for life and save $100, but only through the 25th. I also linked it in the show notes for you. Okay, let's get into the show. Hey girl, do you wish you could make your healthy habits stick, but life keeps getting in the way? Are you tired of diet culture telling you to shrink yourself when you'd rather just find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and feel and look good in your favorite leggings? Then you're in the right place. Think of this as Atomic Habits for women. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, millennial mom, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. I'm here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about health and our habits. How do I know? Because I've gone from former chronic dieter to habit hacker through the power of the system that I'm now going to teach you so you can finally stop dieting and just train for life via your habits. Remember, it's not your fault your healthy habits haven't stuck. We just have to do them differently. Are you ready to habit hack your health? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 269 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey girl, welcome back to the show. I can't believe it. I feel like I just did one of these episodes, but it's time for another quarterly breakdown. And it's the last one of the year. And to be totally honest with you, I did this selfishly at the beginning of the year to also stay accountable to the goals I set for myself at the very beginning of the year. And I wanted to reinforce a quarterly check-in habit with myself. You know, habits just don't have to be daily. They can be weekly, they can be monthly, or they can be quarterly. Now, keep this in mind as we're heading into the last quarter of the year. I want you to make this a habit for yourself because it's been a game changer for me. And I hope you've been able to maybe get a little behind the scenes look at what the business looks like and what I personally feel and share with you vulnerably as far as the habits I'm trying to reinforce, not only in my business, but in my personal life as well. So let's get right into it. I also have a bonus tip that I'm going to do this last quarter for myself when I'm setting my goals and thinking about the new year already. And I'll be incorporating this into my next year, into my quarterly habits, and I'll share that tip with you at the end of our episode. So let's take you back to the beginning of 2024. The big habits and goals I had set for myself included doing my devotional Monday through Friday, getting my yoga teacher training done by the end of April, setting a budget with my husband and end of the month business expenses, and more movement. Just more movement throughout the day. And I've done pretty good with a lot of this, right? I did get my yoga teacher training done. I did start off really great with that budgeting and my end of the month business reconciling with my finances, which I'll share an update to you on that for this past quarter. More movement. I got a walking pad and a standing desk at the beginning of the year. It has probably been the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. I don't sit ever at my desk anymore, and I've never felt more focused and productive as I do when I'm typing on my computer while walking. I never thought that would be the case, but it has. And I've really set a great devotional time for myself each day, but I haven't been doing it 5 days a week. It's been more so 3 days a week. Now, quarter two, my goals were just to continue with the same habits, finish my yoga training, and look for teaching opportunities. I did this, and I also auditioned again for the Hot Works competition. That did not work out, and I didn't make it, which was a blessing in disguise. A lot of times rejection is God's protection, and I've had that reinforced so many times since then. I also put out that I wanted to put out a fitness program that goes along with my course, because many times women, when I'm coaching them one-on-one through habit coaching, they need something more specific. And I've done this. I've done this for that next quarter. Now, I was going to do it second quarter, but I pushed it into third quarter. I was looking into, I finished my yoga teacher training, and I was going to actually start teaching at a local studio, but it just didn't feel aligned with me with the time it would take to create classes and the time to teach, and just the vibe of the studio is a great, great studio, but it just didn't feel right, like the right timing for me. So I might look into that more in the first quarter. And then finally, the third quarter, I wanted to launch the app, which I did. I also discussed I wanted to do some more fundraising consulting. I mentioned I've done that fundraising. I've been a fundraising professional for over 10 years. And I still have always had my hand dipped in that on the side. And I want to continue doing this because it's a really fun way for me to make an impact on my community and continue my budgeting habits into the next quarter. Okay, so what's happened since then? I did launch the Training for Life app, yay! And we just finished a live 21-day challenge. This was kind of like a beta group where they were able to give me feedback. I was kind of able to pivot some things as we were going along, like, oh, this makes sense, or this doesn't look right in the app. And I've been filming and editing even more workouts that I'm adding to the fitness library. And I'll be continuing uploading new workouts. I have a gym one I'm going to put together, a kettlebell one. Might even do some spinning in the future as well. Now, if you want to go try out the Training for Life app, you can go to trainingforlifeapp.com and you get a free 7-day trial so you can poke around and take a look. And I must say, I'm really proud of myself for launching this. And I told myself at the beginning of the year I wasn't going to launch anything new, but I kept feeling like God was pushing me to do this. And it just felt like the most natural and easiest thing I've ever put together as an entrepreneur. It's because it's my sweet spot. It's because I love teaching fitness. I love it so freaking much. And being able to combine my expertise and habit coaching with this habit-based fitness programming, it's just felt so right. And it's been really great to be able to serve women in this way. And the feedback I've been getting is just amazing. So go try it out, trainingforlifeapp.com. It's linked in the show notes too, if you want to go get a free 7-day trial. And I have been doing more fundraising consulting in my community, which has been great and impactful. I want to continue that in the new year as long as it doesn't take up too much of my time and makes sense. Like I said, I did look into teaching yoga at a local studio, just didn't feel aligned. Now my devotional time, I'm only doing it 3 times a week. And to really reinforce this habit for myself is I'm leaning more into how I feel when I'm done, like the peace I do feel. And I usually do it in the morning. And I'm leaning into maybe how I feel throughout the day when I don't do it. And I like to do it in the morning. With me coaching a couple mornings a week, it's really hard to get it in first thing because I'm getting up so early. So I'm really leaning into the reward aspect of that. Like, how do I feel and the peace I feel in order to get that up a couple more days in this last quarter, and to keep moving and keep on using my walking pad and taking walks and I'm actually following along the program I did inside of the Training for Life app too. I've been testing it all year secretly, and it's been a game changer for me for my health. And as far as budgeting goes, so we went to Hawaii in July. Big vacation, and we got off on the budgeting that I was doing, where I was writing everything down we were spending in a day. It's, for me, I'm a visual person. I need to see that. Then we got back, and then school started, and all life happened, and I stopped doing it. And here we are in October, and I haven't done it since July. And I think this is just another vulnerable experience to share with you, to share like something that I think is very relatable is you might have a habit going and it's working really well, and then something happens, like it's summertime, you get off schedule, you go on vacation, and it's really hard to get back into that habit. So my goal is to start that again for this final quarter, especially heading into the holiday season, and really tracking our expenses and being mindful and intentional with the money we're spending. As far as what I'm hoping to do at the end of the year, just keep making updates to the app, adding new programming, taking a break the last 2 weeks of the year. Like, I'm pre-planning everything now, so I'm completely off with my family. I want to get back to that budgeting, find a better tool or some type of cue or time to help me reinforce that habit, and keep following along with the programming and the Training for Life app, and get ready to launch it again in January. You can join at any time, but I'll do big ramp up periods 3 times a year as I'm updating it as well. So thank you for letting me share that with you. It's really good for me just to check in every quarter as a habit, and I think this is really good for you to do too. But some questions to ask yourself if you're doing your own quarterly audit. What season of life are you in? Was this past quarter just bananas for us? It was, and honestly, I was dealing with a lot of, being in my emotions about things, a lot of different things in my life. And that really impeded me from sticking with some of the habits I set for myself at the beginning of the year. Are you using habit loops on your calendar to remind you to do it? I had set a cue at the end of every month to go off on my computer to do my end of the month business, finance, reconciliation. I hate doing finances, if you haven't noticed by now. But I need to reevaluate that, make sure I'm doing it when it comes up on my calendar. It's not like on a Sunday if that's the last day of the month, because I'll just ignore it, right? One of the most important things is to think of your habit identity. My words for the year have been ask and serve. It's written right in front of me right now for me to see. I have it on a bracelet. And that's asking for help, asking for feedback, asking for help from God, asking for help from my family, my friends, asking for feedback from my community, but also serving. How can I serve in multiple ways? And I have that visual cue right in front of my laptop, but it also helps me align my habits into, is this aligning with my habit identity? Launching the app really goes into one of those words for the year, serve, but also ask. I've been talking to a lot of my clients that I coach one-on-one, and I'm like, girl, this is what you need, right? So it really allowed me to have a lot more clarification and not just feel like I'm willy-nilly putting things out there for you, but really to serve, okay? So that's just an example for you. Tracking, always using a habit tracker where you're able to use those facts to show that you have been doing it over time, because sometimes we get frustrated when it's that season of life, and if you're able to look back on that data from the past month and say, oh, well, I did it a few more times this month than I thought I did, it'll really help you out. But also, using that can also give you some evidence to be like, well, I've been trying to work out every day at this time, and I've been tracking it and it's not happening. That gives you permission to pivot, to be like, oh, well, that time of day isn't working for me, or this habit just isn't serving me in my habit identity. You can pivot. You don't have to stick to it 100% throughout the year. You can see I've added more goals as the year went on, as I kind of refocused, right? And then lastly, celebrate. Celebrate yourself and how great you feel on the other side. Like I said, I mentioned I am proud of myself for launching that app. I am. And it's really hard for us as women to say we're proud of ourselves, but it's just going to reinforce that habit and celebrate you accomplishing your goals and help you to stay motivated to keep trying to accomplish your goals no matter what those look like. Okay. Now, as you're thinking of your last quarter of the year, you're thinking about the new year, you're like, what habits do I want to even do? First, I would think of your habit identity, but you can also go get my Healthy Habits cheat sheet. It's free. It's bit.ly/Healthy Habits cheat sheet. I have a 3-step process to help you take action with your habits. So I also give you 60 habit ideas if you need some motivation around mindset, movement, and food freedom. Now, one thing I can say for sure that it's all about progress, not perfection. You can see it's for sure not been about perfection for me this year. And as you do your own quarterly check-in, and as we're already starting to think about the new year goals again, there's an activity that I think would be useful for us all to give a try, and that is a fear-setting exercise that author and speaker Tim Ferriss recommends doing every quarter, okay? This is an exercise to help bring perspective to your goals. So in a nutshell, it's making a checklist of your biggest fears and possible outcomes of inaction. So you can use fear setting to really visualize like worst case scenarios that could happen if you just maintain the status quo, right? So there's 3 steps. So you put your fears under a microscope, write them all out. Write them out. Second, consider the potential benefits of taking action. 3, consider the consequences of inaction. action? Ooh, so for me, let's use launching my app as an example. I had a lot of fears. I have a lot of body image issues this year with myself. I think it's just perimenopause. 43, girl, it's weird. It is just a weird age. Hormones are hormoning, all the things. So I was like, what are people going to want to hear from me? It was a lot of self-doubt and a lot of like, what if nobody wants it? What if nobody wants to do it and I'm just going to feel like I failed? And maybe they don't want to do it for me because I'm not posting like these crazy like before and after pictures, which you will never see me do. I just don't believe in them. So putting all those under a microscope, writing them down. And then consider the potential benefits of taking action. Well, if I take action, selfishly, it's going to help me build confidence in myself. I feel the most confident when I'm moving my body and I'm teaching others how to do so. But also, the potential benefit is being able to serve more women, which is part of my habit identity, which is one of my words of the year. To be able to change people through movement, through this habit-based fitness programming, just in the 21 days from this group that I just had, like, I could just cry. It's been really affirming, and it's been really exciting to watch that happen. But lastly, consider the consequences of inaction. I'm not serving. I'm not going to the best of my ability, but also having a virtual fitness platform allows me more time, right? Right now, I'm teaching classes in person, which I love, and I hope to be able to maybe offer some more in-person stuff just for folks locally as well through the programming that I personally offer. But it's a lot sometimes to put your energy out there. It's mentally, it's emotionally, physically exhausting to teach classes sometimes. But if I don't take action, I'm not able to live up to my best potential and not able to serve women that need me out there. So this is thinking worst case scenario of your fears and taking action anyways, but also thinking of the consequences of not taking action. I think this is really important to think about. And this year in all reality has been really hard. It's been a really hard year for me. I've had a lot of rejection, but for me, it's just my path to remind me that a breakthrough is coming. You know, our minister was talking to us about this last week for church. You're either going to have a breakthrough or a breakdown. And I feel like I've had a couple of breakdowns this year, unfortunately. But sometimes that's just your path of growth to finding that breakthrough on your own faith journey. And for me, it's reminding myself that God's got my back and to keep working on my goals and building resilience and faith in the hope of inspiring others along the way. Nothing lights me up more than being able to serve you through this podcast, through what I offer inside the Training for Life app, my habit course, and even just connecting with you all in person or virtually just means so much to me. So I hope that exercise is something that you'll consider doing and really making it something that's really big in your head, maybe a little bit smaller to help you not with the inaction, but to take action. Now, this is my last quarterly breakdown of the year. This has been really great. I appreciate you all letting me be vulnerable with you all and helping you create a quarterly habit check-in or an audit of your goals to help you stay consistent. Like I mentioned, it has for sure not been perfect, but it's all about progress versus if I set these goals and never looked at them throughout the year. More than likely, I probably wouldn't have hit a lot of those goals. And it's great to celebrate what I've accomplished this year. Like my yoga teacher training, like in all transparency, I had the course online last year for a whole year and I never did it. And then I did it like in 4 months earlier this year. Like it's silly, right? But that's life sometimes, right? So as you're ending your last quarter of the year, thinking of the new year, if you need some ideas, go grab the Healthy Habits cheat sheet and let me know if this episode was useful for you and if you decide to do your own habit of a quarterly audit. I'm so rooting for you, and I'll catch you in the next episode. I am so proud of you for listening to another episode of Habit Hack Your Health. I don't want you to just feel inspired, but I want you to go take action. To help you do that, go grab a free 7-day trial inside of the Training for Life app. This is habit-based fitness programming that you won't find anywhere else. A full fitness library with workouts programmed around what we need as midlife moms and habit trainings and accountability community to help you stay consistent no matter what season of life that you're in. Go to trainingforlifeapp.com to start your free 7-day trial, and let's start training for life together. I'm so rooting for you, girl. I'll see you in the next episode.